Right, we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome. We are talking about a super interesting topic for today's live. And I just have to say that this is one of my favorite things to do in the Gifts for Actors giveaway is come together with my friends and contributors who have joined me in this crazy thing that we do every year and talk shop, talk about what they do, talk about why their gift is relevant, why they chose their gift, and really get to dive in to some really great content. So thank you so much for being here with me, Sarah.
Oh, I'm so happy. I love these conversations. So I'm
Me
like
too.
a nerd. I mean, this is like, when you're hanging out with your friends and you're like, this is what you talk about anyway, like it's like what you're all lit up and excited about. So
That's exactly it. You're such nerds about this stuff. So hey, let's let it happen. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Sarah, who I've known for years. And I don't even, how long have we known each other, Sarah? Like 15 years,
I would
maybe?
say 15-ish, right? That would be my guess.
Yeah, amazing. So Sarah has spent most of those years, the last 13, coaching actors on some of the biggest shows on TV. We're talking This Is Us, Paradise, which I'm currently in the middle of, and just like, oh my God, XO Kitty. Oh, it's so good. Dr. Odyssey, right? She just wrapped a feature in Newfoundland with J.K. Simmons and Abby Elliot. So Sarah has really seen firsthand over a long period of time what's working at the highest level, what that actually looks like up close. And the version of craft that Sarah teaches comes directly from that, which I just love. So Sarah is the founder of Real Actors Lab, and the gift that she contributed to the giveaway is called the Actors Barre. It's a 20-minute daily warm-up that's built to get us out of our heads and back into our bodies, which is where our best work actually lives. So we're going to get into the gifts and all of that. But the bigger conversation today is about what she's actually seen kill performances at every level and what separates the actors who get the callback from the actors who actually book the job, which I'm really excited to talk about. So if you're watching the live, drop a hello in the comments. Let us know. We're on Instagram and Facebook and streaming at all these places. And let us know where you're tuning in from. Sarah, welcome.
Thanks. It's so good to be here.
Yeah,
so good.
So great to have you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I would love to take like a zoom out at this 13 seasons of TV that you've done, TV/film/ all the things. And I'm wondering kind of like what the early days have taught you that completely changed the way that you approach your more recent work.
Does
that make sense? Does that question make sense?
It makes so much sense. I was just thinking about that actually. Because it really does change the more you do, the more you work,
Yeah.
And there's such a difference between going to like traditional acting class as an actor and being in your scene study class, which I am so grateful for.
Yep.
For many, many, many years of studying, and then starting to realize, like, as you work and as you get in there, what you're really actually using all the time. And the stuff that I think there's some things that become automatic without you realizing you're even doing it. And I think I don't know if this answers the question exactly, but I hope so. I think like probably one of the biggest like neglected things early on for me as an actor and as a coach was the nervous system work. It's just like not built into traditional training, and so there was so much talk. I mean, like anytime something anytime a nervous system thing came up in class, it was always like, well, you should also be in therapy, just FYI, And so it was like, go to therapy, deal with that stuff, and then in here you're going to work on your technique, right?
Yeah.
And so I did go to therapy, but also I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't totally solve. And it wasn't until getting to a point where I, as an actor, freaked out. Like there was a couple, like 2 auditions really that I remember very, very clearly. That made me realize like I really have like an issue with my nervous system. And so the Actors Bar is actually one of the things that there's so many tools to work on this part of it. The Actors Bar is one way of many, 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 many ways. So I think the early days for me was very technique. And that was like going to be the saving grace. But the truth was that, and what I see every day on set is there is an allowing and a release and an ability to, I mean, a real ability to live in the moment on the line, live in the moment and discover it in the moment. And we know this, right? This is not going to be the first time actors have heard this. And it's maybe
but hearing it is different than actually embodying it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We hear it called like, we know we have to like let go. We have to let go, but you actually can't let go unless you know what that means.
Unless you feel safe and know what it means. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And so I guess like, I think I've learned that even as a coach, my own coach nervous system has changed. Because I also can't show up and do my best work when I feel like they hate me, I'm failing, you know what I mean? Like, why am I here? Like having full imposter syndrome. I can't give my note because I think I'm paralyzed that they're going to think I'm an idiot, you know? Totally. And so, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to come in and talk to these directors who've been directing since like before I was born, you know? And to be like, I have a note, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So now, but I think like the work that it's doing it a lot, but it's also like getting to the point where I'm regulated in a different way. And so I don't take it personally anymore. I don't take any of it. I'm like, I have that thing that I know we've talked about a lot of just knowing your value and really actually knowing it, really like not just trying to like make a mantra out of it, but being like, oh no, like it's so much better if I'm here,
like deep in your bones. Yes.
And so for actors that know, I mean, like you watch Sterling K. Brown on set, he knows he adds tremendous value. He's not questioning his value, you know. And in the best way, you know,
best way. Yep.
In the best way. So and everybody that I've been on set to see that I admire to work, there is a releasedness that I think only comes from having a really regulated nervous system.
Can you talk a little bit about, I'd love to hear, you know, you don't have to name names or anything, but if there's a specific moment from one of your sets over the years where you can see the difference between a nervous system that is definitely not regulated and one that is. I mean, we have Sterling K. Brown as the example. Like, what does that look like on set?
Oh my gosh. It looks like being very, very rigid and unable to take a note and really, you know, I watched this one actor who had a pretty big guest star, and it was a heavy lift, and lots and lots and lots and lots of dialogue, and they really, I think they were so nervous about the dialogue that they got it so locked that there was no ability to hear the note, to take the note, and you could tell they weren't even really listening. And I had the opportunity to try to help in that situation, and it did feel like I was having a hard time getting that actor to even hear what I was saying. Because it felt like they were in fight or flight.
They're in fight or flight. Yeah, exactly.
It was like they felt
Okay.
like they were dying, you know.
Yes.
They
Yes.
felt like they were dying. Another time, yeah, I mean, it usually looks something like they're not listening. They are very, every take is the same. Sometimes, you know, I've seen also quite a lot of apologizing in those situations. Or actually, one time, I love this story. One time, this woman who had a great little arc in a show came in on the first day of her scenes, came in, played, I think, what she had played in her audition, and
Right.
the director was like, let's not do it like that, let's have, and I'm going to give you this kind of opposite choice. And she was like, I watched her just like go down, like I watched her just, and it was not remotely that she had done something bad or wrong. It was just, let's try this. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I really thought, and he's like, no. And she's like, I just watched her, she couldn't hear any of the positive feedback after that. She was just like, I screwed it up. And what was interesting is that actually her choice is what made it in.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So her first take is what they used.
Yeah.
So it's so not. I tried to tell this to an actor the other day who they were auditioning for something big, and they had a big audition, and the feedback in the room after the first read was, I need you to be more like this, and you're coming in like this, I need you to be more like this. And it was very much afterwards they felt like they made the wrong choice, and it wasn't that, you know, like I know from watching the tape, like often I'll watch the tapes when the actors get hired, and I'll see what happens. And a lot of times, like even sometimes what the casting directors are giving them is not necessarily what the showrunner is going to give them in their, in their final audition, right? So I think that there's, I think that there's that too of like, when you can have a regulated nervous system, hear what they're saying, you're able to feel safe, and remember that you're actually just in a back and forth this is a collaboration. This is the collaboration. That's all it is. But I see that a lot, and that's or also you'll see the actors just drilling the words, and you can kind of tell like, oh, you know, this is going to be,
we might be in trouble here.
Something might come up, you know.
Yes. I'm so curious because I've never had the joy of having someone like you on set when I've worked. How does that happen, and how do you work with all the actors, or are you there for a specific group of actors? Like, how does that work?
It's been different on every single project. So usually, but what can happen is that I'll be brought in for a specific population or a group or a single actor. You know, sometimes it's a non-traditional talent, a pop star, somebody. I'll be brought in for that person, or a couple of people, and sometimes what ends up happening is that I can be valuable in other ways while I'm there, because I'm ultimately there to really support the directors, and so I might end up doing more than I was brought in for, and ultimately getting a bigger and bigger job as it goes along. But yeah, sometimes it'll be kids, sometimes it'll be non-traditional actors, one time I was brought in because there was somebody who was just really struggling with their dialogue and just wanted something. The production said yes to having some support there. You know, when I was there, when I went to Korea on Exo Kitty, I was there to support anybody who wanted it. And I worked with a lot of the cast, and it was fantastic and delightful.
How much fun.
And so, yeah, ultimately I'm really there for the directors, but also the process on every show and movie looks totally different every time. Every time.
Right. So have we actually covered? I wanted to get into this thing you said about the thing that kills performances. Is it that tightness? Is it
So
what is it?
violent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I
I
love
think
it. It hooked me.
it's I mean, it is all regulated. It's all connected to the nervous system thing. Um, because I think what happens then is you can't stop monitoring yourself. You can't
Right.
stop monitoring yourself. And sometimes um sometimes there'll be an episode that someone's on where the director is not actually doing a lot of performance directing. And so then not all actors are like this, but some actors who really want that feedback will start to really watch themselves, and that might translate to a little bit of pushing. So there's something about the watching of oneself that I think the contract is supposed to be, I have someone keeping me safe, and watching me so I don't have to watch myself, you know? So
Yes.
that's a big one. It's like, how can I, we do this a lot in class, like what is my routine to get myself into a place where I feel truly safe? Because if I'm safe, then I'll feel like I can play. There's another, maybe I'll do this for a giveaway item one time, like where there's exercises we do where you're doing a visualization that makes you you're going to a place that where you feel safe, and then you're seeing yourself playing. You're doing something that gets your other side of your creative side of your brain activated, right? Not your sort of other, your more intellectual,
That
like
logical part. Yeah.
self-monitoring. Yeah. So I guess that's the big one, is how do I stop watching myself?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to notice the way this works with people who are, who we see as like the Sterling K. Browns of our industry. It's like, um, I don't think that a lot of people would identify that as the thing, right? But it is.
Yeah.
It's like everything. And I've seen that, in so many of the actors who are leading these projects, is
Yeah.
that knowingness, that feeling of groundedness, that feeling of, yeah, it's almost like a vortex of calm. And it's not like, sets are not calm places. Like there's
No.
so much going on. There's so much, but yeah,
No, not
there is
calm.
that feeling of
And
safety.
you just can't. And I'll watch a lot of actors get very, very like bitter and pissed off about the environment or about whoever's,
Yeah.
maybe it's a director, maybe it's, X, Y, and Z that's happening, or, coming. Sometimes I'll help actors where I'm not necessarily the on-set coach, but I'm helping them prep for the role that they're doing on a show or something. And so they'll come back and be like, they really threw me. They gave me this note. It wasn't anything like it. And there'll be this whole long,
that external blame. Yeah.
yeah. And so we just can't ever need it to be a certain way for us to be able to work. We can't need that, because it won't ever happen the way you want it to.
Right.
It's just not how it works. The director's
right.
not going to give you what you want a lot of the time.
Yep.
Sometimes they will, but talk to even, some of the actors working at the highest level, and they'll say that they can think of 2 experiences that were their best directors that they ever worked with,
Yes.
And
Yes.
there are great directors, and there are great directors in television too, but it's just, we have to
rely on that.
And we can't rely. That's exactly, a segue into something I wanted to say, which is, you really have to have a process. And I think it is a combination of reliable repeatable technique with the nervous system work, so that you don't need anyone to give you anything. Yes, is it nice to have somebody else that you trust behind the camera? Absolutely.
Sure.
But what are the other things you can do to take care of yourself? This is so important. So if you don't really have a process for your nervous system, especially if you're not working on set a lot, guess what? When you get on set, probably you're going to have a real reaction to what that feels like. You know, it's a very particular thing, you know?
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. Yeah,
And so,
I love this. And by the way, this is relevant to life, right? Like it's kind of like a microcosm of like life in general, right?
Yeah.
When you have a regulated nervous system, you can approach all kinds of situations with so much more adaptation energy, we call it in my like meditation practice. Like I can deal with changes of expectation so much more, you know, after years of that. And yeah, it's kind of like, I always think about, you know, the journey to becoming a better actor as like the journey to becoming a better, more adaptable person as well, you know?
It just is. It just is. It just is. And and I think like I feel like there are a lot of kind of schools of thought out there where it feels like, to me, a lot of people do one or the other. They do like all technique, or they're like, I don't need technique, I just need to be in the moment. And for me, I really believe in both coming together. I think the technique is very, very important. And I see and work with people who don't have it, and I see what happens after they do. And so if you can have both, if you have an incredible imagination, and then you can have a lot of specificity. Specificity is something else that I will say, if you don't have it, it will kill the performance.
Right.
You know, if you just watch, I'm like really obsessed with talking about Tom Pelfrey's performance in Task. Which, did you see Task?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, which is ridiculous. It's been on my list.
It's so specific.
Yeah.
It's so there's not a false moment. There's he has every thought, and it's you believe it. Same thing with, I felt like that when I watched Terry Russell in The Diplomat.
The Diplomat, yeah.
Am I losing you? Can you hear me okay?
Those are good examples. Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Shoot.
Yeah, I got a little glitchy for a sec. It's okay.
I can hear you. Okay. You've been great.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to this question of like the callback versus getting booked. You know, I think there are a lot of actors who feel like, I keep getting so close. You know, they're calling me back, or they're pinning me, or they're putting me on a bail, but I never seem to be the choice. And I'd love to talk about what you feel like separates those two situations.
Yes. Well, we've already said some of it, which is the specificity. So I think that there's a lot of stuff going on online right now about like how you have to stand out at the beginning of your tape, you know, and it kind of drives me crazy, because all you have to really, they're just telling you, all they're doing is telling you what they need to see, but they're not telling you to try to stand out. They're just saying, if you haven't grabbed my attention by 10 seconds, I'm gonna move on. So actors are doing all this stuff to try to stand out, when in fact what you need is incredible specificity, and to make a really specific choice, not try to guess what you think that they want. It's the killer. It's such a killer. Because you don't have to get it right. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to get what they had in mind. And sometimes that's going to pay off huge, because you're going to have something that was not at all what they had in mind, and they're going to go, oh, thank God you did that.
Amazing.
Because we didn't even realize that's what that was.
Yes.
So, and don't try to play the thing you know, a lot of actors are like, well, everyone's going to do this, so I'm going to do that. Like, it's this gamifying it and trying to guess like how you're going to get your leg up above everybody else, rather than really understanding the story that you're in. You know, it's very different to be in a procedural than it is to be in a prestige drama than it is to be in an indie film, and then understanding the purpose that your character has in the story. And, you know, if I'm auditioning for a series regular, what is the central conflict, and how is my character a part of that? I can't make a choice that's going to not support the central conflict of the story, right? So there is very specific script analysis you got to do and know how to do. And then once you know that, well, could you just like chill for a little bit with it and start to think about like, what do I know about this? What do I understand about this?
Right.
Start in such a soft way, rather than coming in and being like, I gotta, you know, I'll have actors being like, I just gotta drill it for a little bit. I gotta drill it, and then I'm gonna get back to you. I'm like, don't drill it. Don't drill it ever again. Stop drilling.
Stop doing that. Yeah.
But I get it. I totally get where that comes from. So I think it's specificity, and it's the ability to be incredibly present and alive. I mean, presence is, I think, what we call star quality, you know?
Yes.
Present.
Yes, it is. Right. So good.
So
with that.
I think, and then being like, and then that all ties into what we talked about before, which is also, if you're in a live callback, or if you're in a live audition, a live first audition, can you really listen and take the direction and the note without spiraling out? That's a big one, I think. It's a big one because they're trying to get a sense of how it's going to be to work with you.
That's right. Yeah. I wonder if, as actors are getting out of practice with being live in the audition room, if that ability is dying off a bit. You know, if I still go in for live auditions a lot with commercials, but not film and TV. So I do wonder about that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's happening. I mean, they're doing them on Zoom.
On Zoom, yep.
And it's good to practice, and I think it's good to have to put yourself in other situations. Like, it's one of the great reasons to do a casting workshop.
Yes.
Because you get the live feedback. Your nervous system goes through a little bit of like heightened situation of like, so you get to deal with that. I used to do casting directors workshops live in person in LA once a week. Just purely for that. I wasn't even really, I was like, great, sometimes stuff happened, but mostly I was like, let me just put myself in this situation.
Yeah, I love that. Great tip. Oh my gosh, Sarah, I could talk to you all day. My goodness. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about what actors kind of get wrong about prepping for work, and like I'm going to drill instead of the process that you described. I want to talk about the Actors Bar a little bit, because you put together this amazing gift for the giveaway. Can you walk us through what it is and who it's for?
Yeah. This is an exercise that I've shared with students because people were looking for a way to just quickly sync up to their breath and their body and their emotions. And it's a 20-minute exercise that you can put on, that any actor, any artist, anybody, in a way, it's kind of like a moving meditation. If you've been in a traditional acting class, you've probably done an exercise similar to this. But I like it because it really gets you listening to your impulses, and it gets you to stop censoring yourself if you do it all the time. It gets you to a place where you can really just go. You know, I can always tell if I do an exercise like this in class with actors who haven't been acting very long, and they're like, what is this? Like, so mortified. I'm like, okay, I can tell, you know.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this.
Got some work to do. but it's for anybody. It's for any artist. You can put it on before an audition. You can put it on before you rehearse. You can put it on before you go to set. I have actors who use it in their trailer because it's just like a moving meditation. But I'd love to hear if anybody uses it and afterwards what you think. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think.
Come and let us know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you can get that at giftsforactors.com. Claim the Actors Bar, and there are 16 other gifts from working pros like Sarah. Sarah, where's the best place for people to find you outside of this? And how can we work with you? What are all the ways that we can work with you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I love my platform of preference is Instagram, which is just at Real Actors Lab, REAL actorslab.com. And that's also my website is realactorslab.com. And I have a blog with tons of great exercises and stuff that I think you'll find really useful. I do private coaching and I have small group classes. My group classes are never more than 4 people. So that's pretty special. I keep it a very small container. People still come and prep for auditions or prep for roles. And I do, we do a lot of work also helping people get their tapes together for their profiles, getting their tapes together for their agents to pitch to agents.
Yes.
I love doing that because it really matters to what you're using to pitch to folks. So that's something that I like to do as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Work with Sarah, y'all. She's the real deal, obviously. Sarah, thank you so much for doing this with me. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. So many mic drops. I'll see you soon.
It's great
Bye,
to
everybody.
see you. Okay, talk to you soon.
Get the Actors Bar. Bye.